Action.
So just really chaos on the water at this point.
Danger.
And she's your captain, and she's fearless, and you gotta be fearless too.
Adventure.
Next thing I know, my sailor is diving into the ring, and the crowd is getting louder.
You're listening to Sea Story.
Episode 21, Lost.
I'm PR3 Reed, PR3 Reed. I'm from Georgetown, South Carolina, and this is my sea story. In 2015, I got selected to go on an IA, which is an individual augmentee, to Laos to look for someone who was never found in the Vietnam War. From that point, I had about 2 weeks to get everything prepared. After my 2 weeks, I shipped out to Hawaii, and that's where everything started. When we went there, we got our equipment and everything that we needed to go and dig for the guy who we was looking for in Laos. His name is Commander Dearden. This is back in 1975, I believe it was. He was flying over an area in Vietnam. From the observation of the people who observed it, they said that they saw a flash, and all of a sudden the plane disappeared. Ever since then, no one was able to find him. We got together in Hawaii as a group, and we went over to Laos, to the area where they last saw his aircraft go down. Once we left Hawaii, we flew to Thailand, and that was my first time leaving the United States. After that, we went to Laos the next day. Atapu is the name of the city that we were in. When we first got there, we was in the jungle, and we had to take these machetes, and we had to cut down a lot of trees just to clear out the area and where we were going to be digging. At times, it got a little scary. We had 2 EODs. It was their jobs to go and sweep the area that we were digging to make sure that there weren't any live mines or any bombs or anything in the ground, because apparently there still is a lot of bombs that are still planted in the ground from that war.
Heads up, might have a bingo here.
Once we already had the whole area cleared, we was able to dig, and we found everything from scrap metal from the airplane that the guy was in to, I think we found like a piece of metal that he was wearing. I was what's called the LSI, which stands for Life Support Investigator, because my rate in the Navy is a PR parachute rigger, and I deal with a lot of life support gear. So it was my job to investigate whatever we found. A lot of the things I couldn't identify. I had another senior PR there who was an E8 in the Air Force, and a lot of times I would go to him and ask him what was his opinion. I was really only able to identify like 4 or 5 pieces of things that we found. The guy was wearing red socks. He had on a harness. He had on a G-suit. Little pieces of, I believe, the inside of his helmet he was wearing. We wasn't able to find him. We was only able to find a lot of the things that he was wearing and a lot of scrap metal from the actual airplane that he was flying in. But we had 2 other teams with us who was digging up in the mountains, and fortunately they were actually able to find pieces of bone from the guys that they were looking for.
Oh, that's it right there. It's right. Found something.
At the end of the Laos trip, we conducted a military-style funeral for the 2 guys that they found, the bone fragments that they found. I was in the funeral ceremony for both of those guys. It was a great experience because at that time I had only had about 5 years in the military. I was only at my 2nd command, and I hadn't done anything that I thought was really relative to real life. It was very heartwarming. They were able to sign over the rights of the remains to the U.S. so that we can bring the remains home and bring closure to the guys' families. We packed up after about a month. We went right back to where we started in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. I take from it a lot of great memories. My only regret is that we didn't find the guy who we was looking for. Overall, the experience, it was awesome, and I would definitely do it again if I could.
Sea Stories brought to you by America's Navy. Learn more at Navy.com.